I welcome our viewers at Red Lines Show. Today with me Pavlo, Halyna and I, Dmytro. And today we discuss the peace talks from Putin and the latest events in Kyiv. I mean the hitting of Children's Hospital in the Kyiv. And I propose to begin with this theme. First of all, I want to ask you, I read many information from Russian media, and they have a lot of different reasons of hitting of Children's Hospital.
In fact, they've just made an official claim. They said that strikes were carried out on aviation bases
in the middle of Kyiv.
Yes, and it was a retaliatory strike after hitting Russian energy infrastructure. All the hits were about military bases and claims about hitting the largest children's hospital in Ukraine and Kyiv are lies. End of quote.
Yeah, and actually, I saw different positions of the Z bloggers. Yeah, if you follow their posts. Some of them, of course, say that it's a lie because we tried to hit like a factory. They also mentioned the factory Artem, yes, which is like very
military
close.
Plant.
Yeah, so they've hit it before, and they claim that it has been already like renovated, and Zelensky has been showing off about it. So they wanted to show him that he shouldn't, and then they struck it. Some of them actually do not hide anything. They don't even try to conceal with any like official information from the ministry. So like the most popular, the most vicious one I've seen is that blogger who wrote something like, evacuated mommies with their sick kids. Am I the only one who thinks about a double tap with a kinjal?
Well, that's actually very characteristic. And after hearing all those...
Yeah, and like, Dima likes to ask questions in this show. Like, he likes to begin with it, so he has time to think on his future thoughts. But, I have a question for people from other countries. So it's not about like us. We have our own opinion, and we will obviously elaborate on this. But at the beginning of our talk, I'd like to ask, so what is your thought? What should we tell Russians who say that they're ready for peace, and then they strike the largest in Kyiv, Children's Hospital, even in Ukraine?
Cancer department.
Department. Just imagine, like, I'm a blood donor, so just imagine, like, the stocks of blood they lost, the stocks of blood for, like, children. But still Russians, of course, will claim that. I've seen this also, like, no, they actually treat soldiers there. It's not kids. Believe me, it's kids. I've been there and I've seen sick kids. They need blood and they need treatment. So what do you think how we need to react? People who say that we should just accept Russia's peace plan, how do you sleep? What do you see in your dreams? Like, how should we react? Maybe you can tell us, because I don't see any logical, trying to, cool down and stuff. Obviously, it's emotions. But what, 20 dead in Kyiv already?
Let's recall the Kyiv's prosecutor office. The death toll in Kyiv as of now is 15 people. Up to 3 dozen people are injured.
I want to point that Ahmadit, this hospital, is the largest in Ukraine, and it works with the heaviest of diseases.
Yes, so it's like it takes like very complicated cases for children who did not receive appropriate treatment anywhere else.
So even from another regions of Ukraine, children with mothers came to Kyiv to have a treat in this hospital. I want to read some of not official, but that bloggers who said why they strike on this hospital.
Yeah, and just while you're like looking for a picture, I'll just say that, they, as Pasha told you, they hit the oncology department.
Yeah.
That means like children who need treatment, like they need dialysis, they need, like it takes a lot of time. So when you undergo this process, you have to be in the hospital for like hours,
And stress,
and they know about it.
Stress is really harmful. The whole therapy can go one place if there's a stress attack. It's really horrifying.
I won't even mention the fact that people are fighting the cancer and they just get, you know, dead in the hospital. That's
you must just see the pictures and tell what you think. I believe we could show them.
Yeah.
Yes, we will show them, and the first thing of that bloggers was it's Ukrainian air defense system, because of course if someone hits in a residential building, it's Ukrainian defense system. But we have a shot, we have a video even from people who shooting the working of a defense system of Ukraine, where we can see that it was the direct strike on this point.
Yeah, we've seen on different media, Ukrainian ones, from people after the first strikes at the Artem plant, they've accidentally filmed a direct hit of a missile at Okhmadit. It was not an air defense missile, it was a direct hit of a missile.
Don't worry, they will find another excuse. I've already seen your comments like, oh, we did not hit the actual hospital, we hit some closed building where actually Ukrainian soldiers were.
It was toxicological department. The another excuse for them was in Okhmadit, in Children's Hospital, was the General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine sitting there, and they blame Ukrainian army that they are sitting there.
Yeah, because in Russia, they've re-established their, you know, all fields, like medicine, like healthcare in general and stuff. And so they try to think in their own way that we don't actually care about sick children anymore, and we just filled all the rooms with Ukrainian soldiers, obviously.
Probably all this bravado, I don't know how to call that, it's just a signal for the negotiations. I believe,
yes.
Yeah, they like, you want to stop, you want us to stop being terrorist state, you want us to stop terrorizing, kill children. Give us 4 regions of Ukraine.
It was also one of the reason of hitting of this of Russian that bloggers said that it was Ukrainian provocation for the stopping the Orban's peace plan to the Chinese. It's the another one. It was our provocation.
I just wanted to mention that Orban, like, he was just too unlucky to go like Ukraine, then Russia, then China. He should be here today.
Yes.
Today, talking about peace.
It will be the better. And another things that bloggers wrote, that it was at 700 meters from the Children's Hospital, the railway depot. So it's so unusual in the city railway station, and that's
never
why.
Seen that.
Yeah, never. Yes.
Yeah, probably they will say that there was some nuclear dirty bomb near the largest children's hospital, and Ukrainians wanted to use that against peaceful Russian occupiers.
Yeah, just to poison and nuclear stuff in their IVs probably while they undergo treatment.
And also biological weapons and everything like that. After all this, I believe this makes a statement that for those who believed in Europe, I've heard some politicians after the elections that if they come to power, they will cancel like the decision to allow Ukraine hit Russia with their weapons in France.
Yeah. You should call the names. Who
yeah,
said that?
It was Marine Le Pen.
Of course.
Yeah,
By the way, congratulations on your 3rd place in the parliamentary elections.
And I believe that what happened today is a horrible argument to make those voices lower. We cannot, of course, silence them, but I believe they won't have the courage to speak about that again.
At this point, I'm too pessimistic on this part, because I do believe that if some time, goes by, they will be again. They will be again pushing this. And I mean, look at Orban. He was basically condemned by everyone. Everyone basically told that, like, oh, he actually does not have the authority to go and talk stuff, and he still went. He proceeded with it.
Because he wants peace. He wants peace.
Yes, of course.
And for me, I think you will agree with me that no one in the world don't want peace as Ukrainians want.
I mean,
But
that's also obvious to me, but people think that it can be possible because Orban is the one who wants peace. He is the biggest peacemaker. He wants peace and Ukrainians do not. Because Ukrainians are just dumb and silly and they don't see the actual facts. Because they only see the missiles flying in the sky and their children. That's the only thing.
What the facts we see? You see, Ukrainians see...
I believe we just don't see that Russian army is very peaceful. It's very peacefully
Obviously,
occupying
of course.
Ukraine, and all they want is just not to be attacked again.
And I just want to,
I'm sorry.
I like reading sick tweets and of Russian liberal figures as well. So yesterday I saw a tweet by a very notorious woman, Motuzna, who is one of the she belongs to a Navalny team, right? So, and she wrote something: I condemn, I hate everyone who donates Ukrainian armed forces. You are sick bastards and stuff. And so in the comments, you just see a lot of people saying, just if Russian forces just withdrew, there would be no need to donate. And she was like, that's such a dumb argument, no way.
People don't understand politics if they say so, right?
International law dumb.
I'm so sorry, you basically say that we should just accept the invasion and give up. And I stand on the position that no one who is not an enemy for Ukraine, to Ukraine, will say that. You will not say that we should accept the things we are witnessing right now.
It's typical Russian thinking that you must obey.
Of course you must.
If army came, you must obey. But it's not Ukrainian thinking, because we don't want to live in Russian world.
And actually about that, many people in Global South, they see Ukraine as a fugitive state, fugitive part of Russia that just doesn't want to accept that they are part of Russia historically and they have a historic mission, and they do not support Ukraine because they think that we are the bad guys.
You see, in using this thinking, all the Latin America is a part of
Spain, maybe,
yes.
or indigenous peoples of Americas.
Yes, and all the Africa is divided for some countries.
And that's why, that's how propaganda works. And what we are doing here, we're trying to say we are not part of Russia. We are not like them. We would never do that. We would never attack their territory. And accepting their peace proposals on the aggressor's terms means defeat. Defeat for everyone who for these 2.5 years have been defending European Union, Ukraine, and the whole free world right here. And all over the world. NATO summits, United Nations General Assembly. We're not talking about United Nations Security Council, where, who's the chairman? Yeah, Russian Federation.
Right.
By the way, if you forgot, Ukraine is not on the agenda, by the way, this
Of course, because it's not important.
Obviously, so all of this, strikes and killing children, that you see live. So also, I need, a moment, a big moment to say that don't forget that we still have a lot of people who claim that actually there are not enough footages to prove the war in Ukraine.
Yes?
Oh, trust me, there are a lot of them. And in this world, you would just think it's not possible.
Yeah, there's people who are writing that the war in Ukraine is a fake war.
Yeah, it's it's a fake war and nothing happens here. And Kyiv is actually living a great life. So understand me correctly. Of course, Kyiv lives relatively normal life, and we Ukrainians also sometimes say that we live a too normal life while soldiers are dying on the east of Ukraine.
And civilians in Vovchansk.
We understand that. I do not live a life on the east of Ukraine, but at the same thing, I just don't know how can you say that it's a fake war, because I see systematically that these people, when they see the video that proves the war and the casualties and dead children and people, I don't want to speculate only on dead children, dead people, okay, dead Ukrainians, they choose not to believe. I believe that they choose not to believe.
Let's not say dead, because they were killed by the aggressor's missiles. And
the fact that we have to actually specify this, because you will just take this word dead and say that that's a speculation.
Have you heard like what Western media have been covering war in Ukraine and war in Gaza? I've seen many posts about how they were neglecting Ukraine, casualties in Ukraine. And just yesterday I've seen a post, like a cringe post about BBC, that they are giving too much attention to Ukraine.
Sorry, but I see the problem right here, right in this room, right on your face, and on my face, and on his face. Too white, I would say. That sounds awful, because I'm not the person who would like to challenge Gaza killed children and say that our children deserve more attention. But the amount of articles I see that Ukraine is actually too mainstream to be talked about. Like, that's too much, because Gaza children, they deserve more attention. They have less protection. At the same time, when we protect our kids and our soldiers protect the kids of Ukraine, at the same time you actually suggest and you offer a peace like deal with Putin.
Like
at the same like I don't see, like I have a big problem understanding this.
There's one point. I don't think that the problem is because of someone's whiteness and non-whiteness. You see, the Israeli Defense Forces, what they actually do before they strike a hospital, they tell, we are going to hit this hospital tomorrow.
I can't say that's like a very great
That's
thing.
not a great thing,
Still,
but
because be careful, because like people will watch it and say that, oh, you see, so they think if you warn them, it's okay to strike. It's
I'm not protecting them,
still.
but at least they say what they're gonna do. And right now here we see claims that there were military targets at the children's hospital. It's like the way that war goes. They like announce, we are gonna take this district, and
it's again, you see, it's again the difference, like Israeli army and Ukrainians, Russia. It's every time I see the same thing. When we try to say that, like, don't make Russian stuff popular, try to, you know, not to promote it because these people kill other people. Everyone says it's too much. And actually Russian ballet is so cool, you cannot just get rid of it. And when it comes to Israel, they were like, so it's financed by Israel, we should definitely not buy it. I don't see, like, remember Starbucks or what? They had an entire campaign against Starbucks because it works in Israel. But they are totally fine with everything that works in Russia. And as the time goes by, more people forget about it. They don't understand why should we, you know, even think about it. But still, it works with Israel.
Yeah, again, people are just saying, why you not just stop shooting at them? Ukrainians, why you just do not do a ceasefire?
Because of they shooting us. Because Putin repeatedly said that we will not ceasefire.
By the way, he basically said that officially so far. All these people who say, oh, like Putin is so ready, just accept the deal. He told you, dumbasses, he told you.
Even with
I will not do this.
Even when he talked with Orban.
Yeah.
In speech with Orban, he said,
like,
with the great peacekeeper.
Yes, that there will be no
ceasefire even during negotiations.
Yes, and Orban.
And that's after the fact that when Orban came to Kyiv, he was like, oh, Mr. Zelensky, maybe you would just like, so he did not offer a ceasefire for everyone. He just offered Zelensky
To stop shooting.
to have a ceasefire from the Ukrainian side. To what? To have the greatest possible conditions for the Russian offensive? How does this work? Just explain to me.
Defending Orban, after the speaking with Putin, he said that
It's not like
two sides.
Two sides are on very different. They have very different ideas about the peace, about the ceasefire. Yes, he was like, "Oh, too much work here." Surprise! The peace making is not that easy when you have a war with Russia.
So I have a question. That's why how we can push Putin to ceasefire. We as Europe, not as Ukraine.
I know that Pasha, he has a computer. He can look up who said this quote, but someone said something like, maybe Stoltenberg, maybe Petr Pavel, I don't remember. That's just most base people, so that's why they came to my mind. At least in the field of quotes. That's funny because we talk about quotes, but okay. So some of them said something like, we have to do everything, like to give as much as Ukraine needs to show Russia that the only option, the only way out, at least is a ceasefire at the beginning. So when they cannot conduct active offensive, and that does not go along with the fact when we accept a peace deal and we have a ceasefire and Russia doesn't. But of course Russia, I'm sorry, just logically, and of course Russia will manipulate with the fact that, oh, actually, Ukraine will not stick to their part of the deal. Ukraine is dangerous. Ukraine is Nazis. Ukraine will not stick to a ceasefire. And they will keep saying this just as long as they can. And strike and kill and kill and kill. And trying to once again, so I guess the production of kinjals has boosted a bit. So they again have them. Because today it was like a mixed, attack of like kinjals and other missiles.
And this comes to the point that we will have a ceasefire only at that point when Russians won't be able to shoot again.
Basically.
That will be even not no negotiations. That will be a ceasefire because they will still try to battle with sticks. I don't know, AKs, armored vehicles. But when they get a lack of missiles,
believe me or not, I cannot believe. I'm sorry, I cannot believe we have to explain this when you have the experience of war in Chechnya. Just like
very few people know about that.
Read about Chechnya. If you haven't read about that, just look how, and they had like a ceasefire. They withdrew and stuff. And you know what? Russians killed their own people to have an excuse and go to Chechnya again. They will do everything possible, and even if we go deeper, so people who read a lot of history and stuff, and I understand that for people who are foreigners and they're not very into the Ukrainian history and the culture, traditions, the context in general, it's difficult for you to understand that it's not about only resources and economics. It's like a very deep concept in the mind of a Russian Tsar, where Russia can only exist successfully. It means without coups and stuff, and changing the
with
person.
Stability, as
so
they like
that's
to say.
what they call stability. So when only one person has all the power in their hands, and that's it, that happens only if Ukraine is a part of this country, if we can call it a country.
It's
part
an
of this empire, basically.
And we've seen since 2014 the desire to take Ukraine under control hybridly. So we had Minsk agreements. We had basically negotiations and peace agreements. Minsk peace agreements that were not implemented by Russia.
I guess Ukrainian diplomats, they have a tick when they have to say again Minsk negotiation.
And
Minsk.
everyone, and Budapest,
basically it hurts us to even mention it again.
But I want to say 5 minutes. I want to say my point. If we will have the ceasefire, for example, from tomorrow, and in 2 days after this ceasefire, Putin decided to hit with such missile
Again.
attack again. What will the world do? Nothing. Nothing. It will
They
be
will condemn it.
Yes, yes, but
I know what they can again offer you a peace deal. Sorry, you can just take it.
Just don't answer.
You're just too stupid to take it. I'm sorry, Ukrainians. Just like figure it out on your own.
And that's why.
And then deal with occupation later, because it will come. Sooner or later. I don't know. It will, no doubt. I understand that when you are a person living in somewhere, let's take something far away, like you're in the U.S. The U.S. the situation is it's specific here. Basically, an ocean separating them.
No, if you live in Alaska, it's just a couple of kilometers. So
well, and who is next to Alaska?
Like Alaska
Canada.
and Russia, and
I mean, I meant that neighbor, but yeah, okay. Think about it,
Let's remind the actual real goal. They've had many goals declared of their special military operation. The only real goal is full control of Ukraine. They did not do it politically. They tried to do it physically with military force. They will not give up. They will not do negotiations until they have control of Ukraine, at least part of Ukraine. And if they will be able to legitimize the occupation. Imagine this in the international.
Yeah, that's the word.
That will be their victory.
Yes, that's many people do not see it. That the worst thing you can do is help them achieve the point where they legitimize. Putin always says, "Oh, we are ready for negotiations," but the fun fact is not with this Kyiv regime. Because these are Nazis. So just imagine what will happen.
They want to change government in
what
Ukraine.
will happen when they will change government. So we have these jokes about Yanukovych coming back, and it's not really funny because that's actually their goal. Maybe not Yanukovych.
Maybe someone else.
Maybe
we
someone
had
more clever.
Medvedchuk, maybe. Someone.
Yeah.
It's for me. I remind to myself that in late 17th century, after the Khmelnytsky.
You mean after that alliance of
Yes.
Hetman state in Moscow?
Yes, and after this agreement, every few years, Ukraine signed a new
agreement.
Agreement with Russia with worst positions.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what the Kremlin and Russia want now.
Yes, that's such a great example, and I'm so ashamed I did not say that because I teach history. And actually, so if you just follow all of the agreements they had with hetmans, which was like a president of that time Ukrainian statehood, something like that. So first of all, it was separated, divided into two parts, one influenced by Poland, one by Russia. And Russia's part was under worse conditions, just if you did not, guess that. So every next agreement was worse. And everyone who tried to, make it better, to negotiate with Moscow stars. So we know that some of them tried to make it better for Ukrainians, for the people of.
I mean, we can say that for 3 centuries we've been trying to negotiate with Russia.
I just know that
to do something civilized for 3 centuries, and it brings us to nothing.
It's the point is, I truly believe, and I believe it in it for Ukrainians, that some of Ukrainians don't understand what we are going through right now.
Yeah.
I have to tell you a story. When I was in a taxi going here, and another air raid siren was on, and the taxi driver was like, "Oh, another air raid siren, you motherfuckers!" And then he turned on a Russian song, a Russian rap song. I told him to go, to do what? And he turned it off. But what I want to say is that not all Ukrainians understand the problem we are facing here. That it's not only missiles today or missiles in 3 weeks. It's like 3 centuries.
But maybe it's our problem. Our problem.
Ours
Not Ukrainians.
well.
Our 3 persons. It's we don't want to make negotiations with Russia.
Oh, I can be quite confident that it's not only 3 of us.
Okay. Yes.
I cannot say that it's all Ukrainians, that's for sure, because once again, I know that some people, they're like confused, they're like these children who are like, but mom, why can't I eat glue? I want it so much. Yes, it's gonna kill me, but I want it so much because the Russian songs are so great and Russian ballet is so great, and they do not dive deeper in the concept of where Russia has been trying to destroy your country when you didn't even exist. I understand it's very hard to think about that, to go so, far away back there.
You must think him.
You have to think, yes. And I understand that when you're a foreigner, it's even more, you have to, I don't know the history of the Netherlands perfectly, or the history of Spain perfectly. And I understand that if they had, that's why I do not
Well, I'm sorry, Hala, but the Netherlands actually got their independence from Spain in a war of independence.
See? Yeah. But, why I named Spain, because they also have, a separatism problem, I remember.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I do not comment on this. I do not say oh yes, they deserve to be a separate nation, or they do not deserve, because before I say that, and before I actually will, encourage people to kill each other and encourage a civil war, for example, they call it a civil war, someone will not. That's the problem we had with Donbass.
8 years.
Yeah.
Western media like
Bombas,
Reuters,
I'm sorry.
Western media like Reuters have been increasingly calling Russian-backed separatists Ukrainian rebels.
Of course,
and Russian aggression a civil war in Ukraine, because, well, you see, those people want to be with Russia.
That's also when we talk about strikes that, that's for Russian infrastructure, that's the revenge. I see this argument a lot of times, they say, you shouldn't have bombed Donbass children for 8 years.
Let's explain this argument. It's a typical Russian phrase that means that Ukraine was the aggressor from 2014 on its own territory when Russia tried to occupy it. So it means that Ukraine is the bad guys, this phrase.
And
Europe has, I'm sorry, but it contributed a lot to Russia making it a great argument, because for 8 years, all medias used the word rebels. All medias were like, we have to be very, very accurate with this wording, formulations, and 8 years, is enough to, for Russia to persuade everyone that yes, Ukrainians were killing children there, and now people in this full-scale war, they still use this argument. For in their head, it's very different for them. Just imagine the world that exists in their mind.
I want to tell you that one of the Z bloggers today, after hitting the the children's hospital.
By the way, they hit another medical facility.
In another district in Kiev.
Just so you know, the update.
But after the first hitting the Ahmadit, the greatest Ukrainian hospital, they wrote that the first reason of this hit was the revolution of dignity. If you will not
classic, I am not surprised. Sorry.
If you not go to this revolution, then will not be Donbass. There will be not hitting.
And Ukraine would have lived in peace.
Yes.
That
so
can
you are the
bad guys.
The bad guys. We are the bad guys.
Yes, because when I was 13, I'm the reason the war began. Because I didn't want Yanukovych to be a president and to approve awful laws against Ukrainian people. That's,
well, that's very undemocratic from your point of view.
I see my problem here.
We will discuss your problem
later. In the next episode.
Not all of my problems are for public discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And today I propose to end our episode. I suggest you to subscribe on our UATV English channel, to follow our speak and the red lines. Today with me was Pavlo, Halyna and Dmytro, I am Dmytro, and see you.
See you next time.